Hi ladies, really big news. We are pregnant with baby number 4. I am over the roof and I finally feel like our family will feel complete at 4. Well, at least I hope it will. And in this video, I'm going to explain how, unlike any of my other pregnancies, I actually know the exact day that I conceived this time without taking the pee strips, the fertility tests at all. And I'm going to explain why a fertility specialist would very likely say that I am red flag, that I have fertility issues, but why personally, I think that might not be the case. And then I'm also going to give you the 5 signs that told me I was pregnant, even though my first pregnancy test gave me a negative. I took it a few days later, 5 days later, which was really hard to wait, and it said positive. And I knew it the whole time. I knew that I was pregnant, and I would have wanted to watch a video like this to know those signs. So I just wanted to explain that to you today. But we're going to pause really quickly because this is an important heart matter. If you are in the process of trying to conceive, if you are perhaps undergoing fertility treatments, or if you have experienced the loss of your baby, no matter how old or how long ago it was, that is significant. Your grief is on my heart and I feel for you. And if you have a feeling that this video could be triggering for you in a negative way, I want you to go ahead and skip it. So unlike any of my other pregnancies, when I really had no idea the day in which I conceived, I know this time because my cycle is really long, you guys. It's 50 to 60 days. And that would be the red flag. The most fertility specialists would say hey, you kind of have a problem. This isn't normal, this isn't healthy. But we have been blessed enough to get pregnant our first try for every baby, except for Riker, when Luke was in and out doing different military training that time, and that took 2 cycles. We always get pregnant that first time, but I didn't know when, and it was just this big mystery to me. So during his deployment this last time, I read Taking Charge of Your Fertility and started tracking on a really simple free printable from them, my charts of my cervical mucus. I didn't bother taking my temperature yet because I wasn't trying to prevent pregnancy at that time. I was just trying to see what my pattern is, and I learned that I have about a 6-day menstruation, and then a period of dryness, meaning no cervical mucus, and then it kind of goes into a creamy and then a wet sensation, and then eventually it gets to sticky, like egg white. I'm talking longer cervical mucus. And when you have that long stretchy cervical mucus, that is your day. That is when, hey, game on, this is the time, highly fertile. And so I marked that day on my little chart. I know that was the one day that I had that long cervical mucus that's super slippery, feels like lube. So I feel more confident this time that when doctors in the past have said, hey, you are 2 weeks overdue, or you are 11 days overdue, when they are going by the last day of my period, when I try to say hey, no, my cycles are really long. They're 50 to 60 days. So clearly I couldn't have ovulated till later. And I'm probably not as overdue as you might think I am. So I feel excited this time to finally know that date and to move forward more educated, empowered, and confident about when my expected due date is and whether baby is overcooking or actually coming at just the right time. One little caveat, that if your cycles are really long like mine, they're past 39 days, or they're super short, under 22 days, you might want to bring that up with your healthcare provider, because that could be a symptom of PCOS or another hormonal problem that there could be an easy fix to. So it's worth bringing up if your intuition tells you that something is wrong. The reason I think for me personally, I have these really long cycles is because I had an eating problem. I had orthorexia or anorexia, I'm not even sure what to call it, an obsession with healthy eating in my teenage years. And I explained this in another YouTube video I will link below. And it is all about my testimony, how I came to Jesus through this really low, I want to say embarrassing point in my life, but hey, this is kind of what got me to being saved. And that, I believe, has permanently, long-term messed up my menstruation cycle to give me that 50 to 60-day cycle. But again, why I feel so abundantly blessed that we can get pregnant despite that damage that I caused to my body all of those years ago. Right, so let's talk about the 5 signs that I knew I was pregnant. Like Luke thought I was crazy. He already thinks that I'm like overly sensitive to changes in my body, but I knew I was, and this is how I knew. So 6 days after ovulation, because I had tracked it on my little chart, I had implementation cramping, and what it felt like for me was at the center of my stomach. Now I know the ovaries are on both sides, and I feel like it makes logical sense to feel implementation cramping on one side or the other, but I felt it in the center, and it felt like strong, sharp stabbing pains that would last for maybe 5 minutes, and it happened a couple times throughout the day. And that gave me a sign that, hey, either my cycle is coming tomorrow or the next day, or this is it, like we are pregnant. Then at 9 days after I ovulated, I got out of bed and I was dizzy, and it was to the point where I like actually had to hold the wall. I didn't think much about it. I was just like, oh, I got up too fast. And then it happened again on day 10, and I was like, oh, I must be dehydrated, you know? And then again, it happened on the 11th day after ovulation, which I went back and counted later on. And I was like, okay, Ash, dizziness, sign of pregnancy, like this has to be it, because of the immediate increase of blood volume that is coming into your body, as well as the increase of progesterone hormone. Then another symptom that I got around the same days that I was getting the dizziness when I first got out of bed in the morning is I got headaches. And for me, I get a headache maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. I'm sorry, don't hate me for that, but for me, it is abnormal. So a headache told me something's not right. I haven't been wearing my hair really tight. I knew I wasn't dehydrated at that point. It just made me think, hey, could I be pregnant? The 4th symptom that I felt that I never would have recognized during my first pregnancy, because I didn't know what the sensation was, and I didn't have this feeling during my 2nd or 3rd pregnancies, but I was out running just for a normal run, and all of a sudden, my breasts felt engorged, like they were in letdown, which means like milk is there and it's ready to let down and feed a baby. And it was tingly and sensational. And I was running and I was like, whoa, like I know I'm pregnant right now because this is crazy. And then it happened several more times throughout that day. The other way I could describe it as is your breasts just feel really full and they start tingling, and it's just feels like blood activity going on in your breast. That's a good sign that you're pregnant. And then the 5th really strong sign is my olfactory senses were going berserk. One night I was upstairs with the boys while Luke was reading them a book, and I was like, something's burning, and nobody else could smell anything. And then Luke's like, what? I said, something is burning. And he immediately got up, bolted downstairs, and forgot that he had left the stove on and there was a pot on there that he was trying to heat to like get the stuff off from dinner, you know, that little trick. And he was like, wow, I'm so glad that you smelled that. And then the next day I was repulsed by burnt toast, by coffee. Everything was smelling super strong, and some things that I usually like were smelling really bad. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. I am beyond ecstatic to be sharing this really big news with you. And again, it is early. I'm about 8 weeks right now, like maybe 7 weeks, 6 days, not even quite 8 weeks to be honest. So by the time this video comes out, I will be. So I know it's early, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell my kids yet until we're in 2nd trimester. But from me to you in this Glow Body PT community, if anything were to happen, like I would want to grieve with you. I would want you with me to know what I'm going through. So I would love to hear from you. What early signs and symptoms did you have that you knew you were pregnant even before you had a positive pregnancy test? Because I know that other women are watching this and they're wondering, and I would just like to know out of curiosity, like what were your symptoms? Because we can all learn from each other and we all have different unique experiences. If you haven't yet subscribe to my channel, like this video and give it a thumbs up. And you need to go to my website, glowbodypt.com, if you're pregnant or you think you will be soon, and download my free prenatal training program, because it is the most extensive training program you'll find on the web. As of this date, over 28,000 women have it and are using it. And it takes you all the way from 8 weeks of your pregnancy up until week 32. In those early first weeks, I want you to just stay in your norm. And then I take you week by week, day by day, click and go workouts to take all of the guesswork out of exactly what to do so that you can train hard, train for labor, gain weight, but in a healthy way to grow your baby belly and not just be feeling blah. And it's free because it is just my giant hug to you, because I am incredibly passionate about women and babies and you taking care of yourself during your pregnancy and then postpartum and then beyond as a mother. So I feel grateful to have you in this Glow Body PT community, and I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.